Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the kitchen project. This is the start of week 8. This is going to be the 8th video in the series. We're 8 weeks into working on this, and this is the first one where I feel like we're making forward progress. Up until now, it's all been about demolition and, construction, structural changes to help fix and improve what needed to be demolished. As of right now, we're done with demolition and we're moving forward with actually installing and updating and doing good stuff. So like you can see around, I just started hanging a few boxes to see how that process was gonna go. If you look up high, I started hanging a few cans to see how that was gonna go. And then I got carried away and did just about all of them. But electrical is one of the next things on the list. I'm gonna do the easy stuff myself. Then we're gonna have my electrician friend come in and help me out and do it the right way so that it passes inspection and we get through all of that stuff. But today, I've got to go in and record the podcast. And if you're not familiar with that, what's wrong with you? I do a podcast called We Built a Thing. It's with Drew Fisher and Bruce Ulrich. And we tend to discuss the projects that we make videos about, but in a little more detail. So if there's more information that you maybe wanted out of this project that I didn't just spew onto the camera in the last videos of the series, if you listen to the podcast, you probably get a better insight into what's really going on, the other nitty-gritty stuff, the more details. So go check that out. It is We Built a Thing. The other thing for today is my father-in-law is coming over and we're going to start putting in windows. So the electrical is going to take a pause. I'm going to go record the podcast, and then as soon as I'm done with that, he's already going to be here and we're going to start ripping out old windows and putting in new ones. That is another situation where when I have help, I do the work instead of do the filming. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to set up the camera. I'm going to try to maybe get time lapses or something like that. But I don't know how much you're going to see. You're just going to have to forgive me. So that's what's going on this week. A lot of hurry up and go and a lot of really hot weather. The last couple of days have been extreme heat warnings. People were kind of warned to stay indoors. Our air conditioner ran a lot, and I'm happy to report that our silly little plastic wall did a really good job. And then we have our entryway over here, and we kept this side door shut so that everything on that side and up was kind of protected from, was excluded from the air conditioning. Everything on this side was excluded. Everything in there was air conditioned, everything in here was not. It was hot in here, and it was tolerable in there. So I'm anxious to get the electrical done and the windows done so I can get the insulation in and then have my house contained for summer. But anyway, let's get to window stuff. All right, guys, we officially have all of our windows installed, at least the ones that we have on hand. We also framed in the giant one that hasn't actually come in yet, but we got the new header in and framed in the whole thing so that when it arrives, we just have to cut that out and plop it in and we're good to go. But all of the windows are now in. They're all just a little bit different. It took a little bit of different kind of work to get them put in based on the work that was done before. This one is the only one that we ended up framing all the way around because it was just so different than the one that was already there. And you can see we've got it braced all the way down to the floor. That one, I guess we framed the whole thing there too, but you can't really, the window's not in yet. It's not that exciting. That wall has a whole lot of crazy nonsense going on in it. And the window is now in just fine and is perfectly strong. I'm just going to come back through and continue some of these studs all the way to the floor, just so that when we come back to nailing sheetrock on, we don't just run into cavities that don't make sense. But otherwise, they're all in. They're looking good. This one is pretty big, pretty impressive. I have the temporary handles and lock handle on it. and the action of these things is really smooth. They're really nice. In the couple of houses that we have owned, these are the first new windows we put in and the first modern windows we've had. And I had no idea that you could actually see through glass windows. I can understand now how birds actually fly into these things because they're so clean right now. I might run through this just thinking there's nothing there. We've cleaned our old windows. I'm not saying it's only because they're clean. We've cleaned them. They're just so old and so weathered that there was just no bringing that transparency back to them. So these new windows are nice, and I think we're going to do an even better job of keeping them clean just because of I can see through them, and I like that. The last step with windows right now is going to be foaming in the cracks. So if we come around and look real quick, let's look at this window. I'm set up on this window to look. We're nailed from the front, and then we have these seam all the way around that I can shove a nozzle for some great stuff and fill that crack real quick, and I'm going to do that to all of them. And then we're going to call it done for this part of the project. So throwing in foam into this crack right now, it not only seals it up better, but it also kind of adheres. It helps almost like glue the frame of the window to the framing around it. And even though it's nailed in from the outside, it's very, very strong. This will make it more like permanent. And I am going to do as nice a job as I can. And the most important thing is to avoid drips onto my nice clean windows because I don't want to see the wrath that comes with messing up the new window. There, that's all the way around. And I'm going to let this stuff expand. And if I can fit more in there, I'll come back and I'll do another lap with it. This isn't the kind that expands a ton. It's up to an inch. And that's everything I have here is 3/4 or less than an inch. So this will do just fine for that. But I'll add more and fill that up as much as I can once it's expanded. Well, that's going to wrap this one up, guys. It took 2 cans of that foam to get around 1, 2, 3 little windows and 1 big window. And I still don't think that they're actually as full as I'd like them. So it's going to take probably 2 more cans to finish and do another big window. Something along those lines, just for frame of reference. Yep, we're calling that quits. Going to clean up a little bit more in here and then go back to working on electrical. I have a few more cans to hang, and then I get to start routing wires around this place and start tying circuits together and figure out where they're going to go. Not figure out. I already have the roadmap. I don't need to figure it out. But start routing them where they need to go. So that's probably what next week's video is going to be. Thank you guys for watching. I have already been informed that I am a little bit ripe smelling. So it's time to go take probably my second shower of the day with a third one to come. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.